Okay, will you shut that curtain? You're not on camera. It's just making a really big glare back behind me. Anyway, good afternoon. Thank you for anybody that watches this anytime, whether it's live right now or later on sometime today or tomorrow or a year from now. Hopefully it gets passed around that long. Today we're going to be making homemade fresh flour tortillas for class. This is probably going to take about 30 minutes, so it's going to be a little long, but it takes a little while because you got to mix everything up, and then you got to make these little balls out of your tortilla so that you can, out of your flour so you can make your tortillas. I have 5-pound bag of flour here. This is what I'm using, great big bowl. You do not have to make this much. You can downsize it, okay? I personally don't always measure stuff, but so I'm a dump and pour method kind of girl. Unless I'm doing cookies or candy or something like that, you have to make exact measurements. It really doesn't turn out. Learn that the hard way. So anyway, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna add grapeseed oil. I'm trying not to show labels to you guys because I don't want to promote anybody or get anybody in trouble because I don't own the rights to use any of this stuff other than I purchased it for myself. So I do get grapeseed oil. I love it. This is a brand new one. I may have to have my daughter open it. There we go. It has no flavor to it, you guys. So it's very, very good to cook with because it doesn't change the flavor of the food you want to eat or what you're putting it to. And you can bake with it, you can fry with it, you can use it for massage oil, you can do it for all kinds of things. So I'm going to pour about 3/4 of a cup of oil in there right now. I may add more, we'll see. It's different every time, it depends on the moisture in the air, so the way your tortillas will turn out. So I'm going to take a palmful. Hold on, let me switch hands, maybe you can see better. Yeah. Just a palmful there. You know, that's probably about 2 teaspoons. It's less than a tablespoon for sure. Yeah, see? Less than a tablespoon. If you like a lot of salt, you can add a little bit more. I am going to use 2 kinds of salt. So actually, if you like salt, you should add more of whatever you're using. I'm going to do about the same measurement of the pink Himalayan salt here. Move this out of the way too as I use them. And again, it's about a tablespoon of this one. See, not quite full, but getting there. Well, let's see if I can get it to focus. There we go, that's cool. Okay, I'm learning this as I go, you guys. This is my very first YouTube live video. So thank you for anybody that's checking it out. I'm excited, I'm nervous, I'm starting to shake a little bit, it's crazy. I've done a lot of these lives on Facebook. I don't know why I'm getting all nervous. Now, the true traditional method of making tortillas in Mexico, you would use lard. A lot of people can't eat lard. I personally would like to use a healthier oil because this has got a lot of good stuff for my heart and my body. It's got a lot of things that are anti-carcinogenic and a lot of really good properties. I could go on and on for hours about what is good with this stuff. Just Google it. Google it. It'll tell you. You can spend an entire day looking at what the benefits of grapeseed oil are. So I'm just going to set it off here. And then I have boiled 1.5 liters of water. It's going to sit here off to the side. I'm going to grab a pair of gloves. Give me just a second. I'll be right back. I'm going to step over here. I wear gloves so that if something happens and I need to take quick action, I can just throw these gloves in the garbage and I have clean hands. You don't have to do this step. And I will take them off once I get this mixed in a little bit better. So you would use lard with this. Like I said, maybe 3/4 of a cup for a 5-pound thing. And the catch to it is you need to have enough fat to it so that it keeps it soft. But you don't want too much fat and they just end up really greasy later on. It's not cool either. So for me, I don't add the baking soda like they would in traditional Mexican tortillas. I'm allergic to corn and it's made out of corn. So I just leave it out and they still turn out really, really well. So the only thing you would use the baking soda for, baking powder, the one in the can. The only reason you'd use the baking powder is to get the little bubbles, but it still gets the little air bubbles in it. And when you have a tortilla and it puffs up the whole thing in Mexico, their belief is that your mother-in-law loves you. So I'm lucky, my mother-in-law loves me a lot. Amen. Give me a second here. All right, you guys, so Any questions, or if I go too fast, shoot me questions, and get a chance, I will answer everybody. Not a problem. So you just get in here and you mix this with your hands, and you want it to get nice and crumbly. You're gonna cut it in just like you would if you were doing like a pastry dough of some sort. Pie crust, any kind of dough, flour has to be cut into. It's gonna be resemble the same, except this you're gonna get it a little bit finer than you would with a pie crust. So all I do is I just take it and I kind of roll it between my hands. Circle my hands around like this, guys. And just let it fall through. You'll feel the little balls, and you can just kind of smash them flat like that and mix them back in. So one of these days I'm gonna have a sidekick that'll do my videos for me so they can zoom in when I'm doing these kind of things for you guys. But my sidekick's a little busy right now. Well, come and visit. You can take care of the camera. Yeah, so I thought you're busy. My poor daughter, she's in powerlifting, and yesterday was their first day of workouts. They did thighs, and she's having a hard time walking around.
Squats.
Standing up, getting up and down. They did a lot of squats with a lot of weights. What did you say you had to do? 65-pound squats, or what were you doing?
95.
95.
But it was just warm.
Just to warm up. Wow. But still, I couldn't squat 95 pounds. I don't think I could squat 50 hardly. It's all I can do to pick up a 50-pound bag of dog food. So I could squat it if I had to, but not wanting to. So I've never done a live YouTube video, so I don't know if there's comment section or how to tell if people are watching or anything. So I apologize if I'm not answering any questions or saying hi to anybody, because I just don't know yet. I'm learning as I go. But these are gonna come out so good. So you just want to keep going with it and rub it all in. And you can add different kinds of flours. You do not have to use a regular flour. I wouldn't recommend like a nut flour, because I just haven't used it to see how it would come out. But I don't know, somebody try with almond flour, or maybe I can try it with almond flour. Maybe that'll be my next tortilla class. I did some the other day with some rye flour. I did half rye and half regular all-purpose flour, and man, they turned out so good. They look like wheat flour, but they didn't taste like anything other than flour, plain tortillas, plain flour. This is a lot harder than it looks to keep talking to just the camera and work while I do this. It's not something I normally do. I talk in my head, but not out loud. Okay. And you can see, I still have big clumps here. Those are the ones I'm going to break up. Okay. Nope, too close. Can't see. Yeah. Okay, have a good rest. See, that's just too big. So we want to get that broke up. This is what we're looking for. There we go. It's going to focus. See how it's just kind of little crumbly is fine. This one's actually too big, so we just want to break it up. You can see there's a lot of oil in it. The whole purpose here is you want to distribute the oil evenly as you can through the flour. Now you can put this in like your kitchen mixer and whir it up really good. There'd be nothing wrong with that. There we go. There'd be nothing wrong with that. And if I thought about it, I probably should have done that. It would have gone a lot faster for this class. But oh well, we're going to do it by hand the old-fashioned way. So just get in there. Like I said, it takes a little bit of time. The next thing we're going to do is I'm going to take that hot water that I've got over there, and we will pour that in here. And you know when you have enough flour to oil ratio correct, when after you've mixed it up really well, you'll see there's little, you'll see all these little chunks. Once you get them pretty well, and you can take a handful and it'll almost hold together like this is here. Kind of looks, you know, like Play-Doh. But you don't want it as wet as Play-Doh. You want it to be fall apart like powder, but hold together if you put pressure on it, okay? So it'll hold together if you put pressure on it, but fall apart if you crumble it. Just like that, it just powders up. If you go more than that, they get a little greasy. If you don't have enough, then you end up with a hard, crunchy tortilla that is good. You can make tostadas out of them. You can fry those. You can make casseroles with them. Nothing wrong with a tortilla. Don't ever throw a tortilla out. absolutely really burn it. Then the birds might not even eat it. So, around here, nothing goes to waste. The dogs or the horse would fight over it. The pony. I always call her horse, but she's a pony. I should give her her right name. Yes, we have a pony. Her name is Julieta. She's a sweetheart. She thinks she's a dog. She truly does. She licks your hand if you put it out in front of her. If the dog's running at something up at the front of the house, to say somebody comes over, she's right there with them, wanting to know who's there, what's going on. But she's the gentlest pony too. We have a lot of chickens and baby chickens, and when I put her food out there, they want to share. And she just lets them come right up there. She doesn't ever fight them off or try to kick anybody or bite them. She could easily bite them. That's not a big thing. She could, but she doesn't. The only person she bites, and she doesn't even bite him, but she nips at my big dog's tail. We have a big Napoleon Mastiff named Bugsy. He's about as big as she is. But they get to running and she'll grab his tail and he'll turn around and get at her. They're fun to watch. Yeah, they're fun to watch. Okay, and you'll see when you know you've got it mixed in, you can kind of tell a difference in the texture. It's not just all loose white powder anymore. It's got a texture. It's kind of crumbly. And I'll get closer to you here in just a second and run my fingers through. I just want to double check. And if you have some clumps, it's going to be okay. They'll mix in. Don't worry about that, but try your best to get them as mixed as you can. You want to get all that salt distributed. There's nothing worse than getting a big mouthful of salt. All that kind of stuff. Okay, so I'm going to come closer, hold this bowl up here. Here we go. You see how texture is? It's not just like, it's not as fine of plain white powder would be with just plain flour. And you just want to make sure it's all like that. And like I said, it holds together with pressure and then just crumbles back to powder. Super easy. And like I said, I didn't measure it, but if I did, it would be close to 3/4 of a cup for a 5-pound bag. So you can divide that out and make half that. You can triple it, double it, whatever you want. Oh, I made a huge mess. I missed the bowl, or it fell off my glove. I bet it fell off my glove. Well, the stove is covered in white. Yay! My favorite motto is, at my house, when we're cooking or eating, if it's not messy, it's not good. You gotta have love in it. You gotta have messy to it. Then it's yummy. And everybody comes back for seconds. Alright, so my water is really hot and I don't like my hands to burn. So I use a wooden spoon just for the fact that once it starts to pull together and mix in, all of the stuff on the spoon will stick back to the dough because the wooden spoon has a little bit of oil on it. I don't have a lot to clean and I just like using my... So you're gonna have about an equal amount of flour to water. But you want to go slow. You don't want to add a whole bunch of your water all at one time because if you get them too wet, it's really hard to fix them. You have to add a lot of flour, and then for me, it tastes like you added flour. You can taste the flour on the outside of the tortilla. I'm just picky, I guess. But you can fix them. Don't throw them away, like I said. Never throw them away. They'll be edible. There's nothing wrong with them. But if you're doing it the right way, just add a little bit of water at a time. And the reason I do this with a wooden spoon is to help keep it moving so it cools the water down so I get my hands in there. You will not be able to mix this all up with this wooden spoon. Now, again, using the whisk if you have a KitchenAid or a professional type mixer, because this is going to be a really heavy dough, a lot thicker than pizza dough. The dough hook, I don't know if it would get mixed in enough. It's worth a try. Just never want to clean up the mess from the try, so I haven't done it. But yeah, later we could do some classes where we try different things like that and we all see together what happens. I don't mind doing that. Do experiments and stuff. That would be cool. Keep the monotony of just cooking, to be cooking something. Broke it up to do something cool. Okay. See, it just kind of rolls right off the spoon. Alright, I'm going to set that to the side. I'm going to get in here and feel. And with the rubber gloves, you can do this with the water hotter. if I didn't have the gloves on, I would not be putting my hands in here right now because it's pretty hot. If it gets stuck between your fingers, you really feel it. Okay, so this is still, it's wet, but it's still kind of crumbly. So again, I'm going to add a little bit more water here. I don't want to get dough stuck down in my handles, so I'm going to cover it with a paper towel. All right, and what I do is I just do a light pour in circles from the outside to the middle. There we go. The reason you want to do really hot boiling water is you want that oil and water to meld together in that tortilla, in that flour, and you want it to melt your lard if you're using lard. You can use coconut oil. I've done that before. It works good. You can use butter, but be careful. They burn a little bit faster. They come out a little bit stiffer. Any oil will work. Any kind of fat would work. All right. So what I'm doing here is I have a bunch of stuff that's a little bit wetter than the rest of it. I'm going to pile that up and off to the side so that I can get this powdery stuff a little bit wetter. And again, outside to the middle. Move this over. And do the side to go outside to middle. Alright. Here we go. And if you don't have one of these handy dandy teapot water boilers, I'm not sure exactly what to call it, I don't want to give a name out. But just boil the water on the stove. Easy peasy. So, but you're gonna have to boil, let's see, I'm not sure, I don't remember how many cups 2 liters or 1.5 liters is, but, and I'm telling you 1.5 liters because it has it marked here on my teapot. But it doesn't give it to me in cups. Okay, whew, it's really hot. But it's starting to come together. You see how it's not crumbly anymore. It's almost holding its shape. And this will hold its shape if I keep working it. It's just about perfect. See, it's not sticking to my gloves. Picking everything up. Okay. And you can keep mixing this as one big solid dough, or do like I'm doing and take up a big chunk, get it mixed. Whew, it's hot. If it's too wet, you can add some of the dry to it and just work it in. If you feel like it's holding together good, you don't want it to be sticky because you're gonna have to roll this out, so you want it to hold its shape. And you gotta remember a little bit too that it's gonna dry out just a little bit as you're rolling them, because you're not gonna be able to roll all these really fast. It's gonna take a while. So, okay, can you see that? And this is a workout, ladies, especially if you're doing 5 pounds. Okay, see how that dough is? It's just nice. It's soft. It's hot. It's not sticking to me. But in a little while, we're going to knead the heck out of this, and we're going to get the strands gluten to activate. Okay. I'm going to mix these two together, the two that I started with, just to keep them the same. Okay. Okay, for the purposes of the class, I'm going to move on. Okay. This will hold, that will hold and do just fine later when I come back to it. So what we're going to do next is you're going to knead this. Make sure your countertop's clean. If you don't have a smooth countertop, you can use a cutting board or a big piece of marble, or go to Home Depot and buy you the biggest flat piece of tile you can find and use that. They're all great. Oops, and I just got a big chunk of my shirt. Sorry guys, I don't wear an apron. I wish I did, because my stuff would stay much cleaner, but I never think about it until A, it's too late, and B, they kind of hurt my neck. I get stiff neck and shoulders and stuff when I wear those wrap around the neck ones, and that's what I really need covered, so. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of these little chunks. I don't want chunks in my tortillas. Give me a second, I need a drink too, my goodness. All right, so we are gonna knead it. And to knead something, okay, I can take the gloves off now so you guys can see my hands better. All right. All right, so So you're going to use this part of your hand. You're going to take a hold of the dough and you're going to push it away from you and then pull back. Push it away from you and then pull back. Come a little bit closer to the camera. Okay, you're going to push it away from you and pull back, but you're going to push on the counter on the hard surface, palm of your hand, the fattiest part, okay? And just keep rolling it over and then push away. Okay, so I'm going to come back over here and get started. And that builds the glutens or the strands that hold the tortillas together. Goodness, guys. I hope you're all having a good weekend. Ooh, I'm going to hit my head there if I'm not careful. Anybody got plans? Shoot me a message. Let me know what you're doing. It'd be cool to see what everybody's doing across different parts of the country and different parts of the world. You know, just because it's our holiday doesn't mean it's everybody's holiday, right? And for those that don't know, it's Labor Day weekend. It'll be cool. Salute to all those people out there that believe in Labor Day. And if you don't, I appreciate you watching and not getting offended that I do. Okay. So you can see this now. See how that's a nice smooth dough. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to make miniature ones of these, but I'm going to do this big one for an example. You're going to take the dough and you're going to roll it down around your fingers. Okay, see that? I have the top and I'm going to push it and then push it into my fingers and roll it up. Okay, but like I said, we're going to use little ones. I'm doing this to show you so you can see it really well. Okay, and for those of you that have dexterity problems, which I do it a different way. This is the traditional way that I've seen most Hispanic women that make tortillas do it. Okay? The point is you want to make folds and layers of your flour. This gives you the little pocket that's going to puff up when after you roll it all out. Okay? Second way to do it, I'm going to take it and do a real tortilla here. You're going to take a ball off of your big ball. Okay? And it's about a handful. See? It almost fits in my hand. Got a little squishy out at the top. Okay, that's a nice size tortilla. This is going to make us probably an 8-inch tortilla. I picked up something there. Okay, so anyway, the other way to do it. Okay, so we were doing it this way, where you push it and you just go all the way around till you make a nice little dome. And it'll take you 4 or 5 trips. This is what's time consuming. It takes a while to get these guys formed, but if you do them right, they are so good and so much healthier than the store-bought ones. Okay, so you're gonna have this little dome in the middle. What I do is I use my thumbs. So I have one thumb in there and I push the dough with the other one on top of the original, my thumb. See, like that? And then I move the dough around. Oh, here. Try to do it where you can see it. So this is, the top side flips over. You do it that way. Okay? So my thumbs are pushing it underneath. Oh, I can't do it so you guys can see it really well. There we go. And then I'm going to take this little piece here. I'm going to tuck it back underneath there. So for me, I do it upside down and I do it like this. And I just went around the whole dough. And you see it kind of folds up on itself. And the top, well, I've touched it too much, but the top should be kind of smooth. It's got little lumpies on it. And then you want to set this off to the side and leave it rest. And usually I put it back in my bowl. Hold on, I'm going to have to get something else. Okay, I'm going to let them set in this aluminum tin. But you just stack them up in one side of your bowl, and you need to let the flour, I'm sorry, I lost connection. Look down. Here, maybe I'll move back over. There. If you do not let these rest when you roll them out, you will end up with little small tortillas and they won't spread thin for you. And then they'll probably be really hard and chewy. Okay, so you let them rest so that the gluten that you just activated relaxes, and you'll feel it. The dough will become even softer. When you do it like this, it kind of seizes up and you can feel it. It gets tighter. The more you do it, the tighter it gets. And again, it just has a little ball there, or the little folds on the top of my ball, and I put it off to the side. And you go ahead and do all your flour like that. Okay. This, like I said, this is time, but your family will love you for it. And the more you do them, the faster you'll get. And hey, you know what? It took me years to get this recipe down. I've been married to my husband who is from Mexico for 19 years. And it took me probably 15 of those years to really perfect tortillas and get them down to where people were like, started telling me, oh, you have little Mexican lady hands to make tortillas like that. That's a really nice compliment to hear that you have grandma hands and can make tortillas like grandma does, because everybody loves grandma's tortillas, right? Grandma's cookies and pies, cakes, all that stuff. Heck yeah. So, for me, that's one of the best compliments I've ever gotten. That. But anyway, I just put a lot of love in the food that I make because it's expensive. I have to work really hard to get the money for what I have to eat. So I want to make the most of it and have it be the nicest looking, the most flavorful, and as healthy as I can afford. You know, whether it's from some potato chips to a few chocolate covered almonds to the oil that I use to the fresh fruit and vegetables. You know, I get the best that I can afford. No, and there's nothing wrong with not being able to afford it. Do the best that you can with what you've got. And that's the best thing about cooking is everything's adaptable. You know, everything's adaptable. But tortillas happen to be a time-consuming but very good and healthy option compared to having a bunch of bread. You know, if you eat just 2 tortillas at a time, you'll be all right. But if you're gonna go and eat 7, 8, 9 tortillas, that's way too much. You might as well have 3 or 4 loaves of bread, or 3 or 4 pieces of bread too. So, and these are cheap to make because you saw it. It was some oil, some flour, some sugar. You can make sweet tortillas and turn them into buñuelos. Add a little bit of sugar to them. I'm gonna make this into 2 tortillas. Share this. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna let these rest, and while I rest them, I'm gonna clean up my flour and talk to you guys. So I'm thinking the next one that we're gonna do, we will do a salsa. I'll make some salsa for my son who's coming down to visit. Actually, both my sons are coming in the next couple of weeks. So we may do several salsas. Okay. So, see my grill? I just totally covered it in flour. And I worked so hard to make it all perfect and clean and pretty for you guys. Like I said, if it's not messy, it's just not good. I get that flour off there. It'll smoke a little bit. Now, it is probably going to your house when you cook the tortillas. It does mine because the griddle has to be pretty hot. You want your tortilla to start cooking, and I'll show you in just a little bit, pretty fast. If not, it sits there and it dehydrates, so you end up with a crispy, hard tortilla. And you don't want that. You want a nice, soft, flexible tortilla so that when you put it in your hand and you open it up, the tortilla lays out and it doesn't crack on you. That's a good flour tortilla. I'll say that again, just a second here. You want the tortilla to put it in your hand and hold it like this, crumple it up, squeeze it up, and then open your hand up, and the tortilla opens up without cracks in it. And if it gets a few cracks, oh well, you tried. You'll get it better next time. Nobody's perfect, and I still screw them up. These might not even turn out. You don't even know until you cook them. So, you can see how I lined them up in the pan here. Trying to keep the glare and not drop them all like that one. And when they're in a bowl, you can just stack them right on top of each other. As long as they're not sticky, they'll stand up to hold being next to each other without sticking together, just like these. If the flour is still really warm, if your mixture is really warm, you want to turn them over every once in a while, because like these, they start getting steamy and they'll get sticky on the bottom part from the steam and the humidity condensing. So you want to turn them over every so often, which I just realized these were doing, so that's what we're doing right now. Flipping them over. So now all the pretty bottoms are up. Okay. Another drink real quick. All right, our grill's starting to go. In Spanish, they call this a comal. So we cook on our comal probably 3 times a day sometimes. or more. It just depends on who's. Give me a second. Our fingers and not be able to work. Water is off. So you're going to take your little tortilla. Let's see if I can move my camera. Sorry, that's bouncy, you guys. All right, bring it back up that way. Just there we go. Now we can see everything. Okay. All right, there we go. Still it's too far. Hold on. It keeps falling. I need to tighten this thing a little bit. There we go. There, we've got it all. Sorry, it was too loose and it kept going down every time I stepped away. So we're going to roll it, and it's probably going to roll up around your rolling pin. Nothing wrong with nothing wrong with that if it doesn't fall off. Anyway, so take it off, and you're going to have the stickier side. Keep the sticky side down, okay? If you have the sticky side up, it's just going to keep sticking to your rolling pin. Okay, so you pick it up. It's going to be an oval shape by this time, and turn it so that the oval shape is the width, the length of the rolling pin. So you can roll top to bottom every time, and just keep picking it up and turning it. A half turn. Okay, as it gets a little bit bigger, you're going to end up flipping it over. Okay, with the sticky side up. Because if you keep the sticky side down and you keep rolling, it's going to stick to the counter. You want the sticky side up when it's bigger, because you're going to go from the middle to the top, middle to the bottom. Pick it up, turn it a half turn, keep it kind of flat, and again, middle to the top, middle to the bottom. And now I'm just going to go around. Once it's getting to where I look for the grains of the lines in my wood countertop here. When I can start seeing those, I know I'm getting pretty thin. I'm getting pretty close. So, because I put that non-sticky side down, as long as my dough is not too wet, it'll just peel right off of here, just like that. And then you have a tortilla. Nice, sweet tortilla. And you'll feel one side's a little bit drier, one side's a little wetter. This is our wetter side. What I'm going to be doing is putting these around the edge of the bowl, okay, just like that. So I'll be reaching back here, and that's what I'm doing. I'm putting them on the edge of that bowl. That's getting pretty smoking hot. I'm going to roll one out another part of the way. Again, it's okay if it rolls up to onto your rolling pin. Take the oblong, make it the length of your rolling pin, and just top to bottom, from the middle to the top, middle to the bottom. Half a turn, top to the bottom, middle to the bottom, middle to the top. Another half turn. Okay, that's getting really hot. I'm going to turn back just a little bit. Now, when you can feel the heat coming off your pan, you're getting pretty close. Okay, so look, my tortilla is not, hold on. Wow, guys, it's really out of focus. Okay, my tortilla is not super round. Look at it, it's all funky. But guess what? When you're about done rolling it out, you can stretch it. I'm not done rolling this one out, but I want you to be able to see that you can stretch it. So you can make it into any shape you want. As long as your dough is good, that's giving you a good hint that, hey, it's pretty good. And again, you still won't know until you actually cook them. Okay, you just stretch it out. And it makes it quite round. But I'm gonna go ahead and roll this out because it's a little bit thick in one areas. I used to tell my family, you know what, you're going to just tear it up and eat it anyway. Your teeth are going to chomp it up into bits. So who cares if it's perfectly round? It's going to the same place with everything else. It's what it holds that is what matters, right? So anyway, I appreciate anybody that stuck through with me till this part. It's getting pretty boring, I know. I'm sorry. I wish I had a sidekick to keep talking to, but like I said, my daughter's not feeling so good. She'll help out later, and a couple others. Maybe her and her girlfriends or my nieces can come help. All right, so you see this is starting to steam a little bit. That's good. And you'll notice it'll start getting little bubbles. I don't know if the camera's picking this. Well, it puffed up, but I lost connection, you guys. I'm sorry. I don't understand what's going on. I never lose connection with Facebook. So, I don't know. We'll see how this YouTube works out, guys. We may just stick with Facebook. All right, so I turned this a little bit more because you guys lost connection, but done. And I'll show you with this one. Usually you only turn it about 3 times. Okay, I always put the sticky side down first because it has the most moisture. That's going to give you the biggest air pockets. That steam, it pops them up. Okay, so it's only going to take, 10 seconds, 15 for that to start sizzling. And about 20 seconds, it should start bubbling, just little tiny bubbles. Okay, you guys, this is how you make homemade flour tortillas. You can use organic flours, you can use, oh, here we go, see? Little bubbles all over. Then you flip her over, it's a nice light brown. Hey, sometimes these spots will get dark. They'll get almost burnt, but it's okay. Don't worry about it. It still tastes good. There's nothing wrong with it. It's good to kind of have a little bit of that char once in a while. Well, I see 2 people are with us. Thank you for watching. I don't know who you are, but I'll thank you in person, or I'll thank you later. I'll message you. Anyway, oh, it's looking good here. See, it's starting to puff up again. Here we go. Is you want to make sure you get it all the way cooked. It doesn't look as, you want to make sure you get that really cooked, because if not, and you eat half-cooked raw tortillas, you will get constipated pretty bad. So if you already have digestive issues, you don't want to add to that. So, all right, I'm going to roll out another one. We're going to do one more, guys, and then I'm going to sign off and finish up the rest of my tortilla batch back there, because these are coming out really well. My family's going to love these. And I will eat these for my bread and carbohydrates for the next couple of days. And hopefully I'll still have some left for my snacks when he gets here. All right, see, we're getting these little tiny bubbles in there. Do you not want to push? Don't do that. That's why I use a spatula these days. It's just too hot. I don't have time. So here, it's starting to puff. Here we go. See if we can get the whole thing to puff. There we go. Yay! We got a winner. Mi suegra te quiero mi mucho. That means my mother-in-law loves me a lot, because I got a big old pillow out of my tortilla. All right, you guys. I'm going to let this one cool off. Let me go back to the first one. It's soft for a little while. Woo! It's still really hot. All right, I'm going to let it sit there for a minute. No, I can't let it sit there. Put it on this side of the bowl. Whew. Once it cools off just a little bit, I'm going to show you what I mean by it should be pliable. And you want to keep your tortillas covered because you don't want them to get dry and crispy. So keep the lid on your tortilla press or your tortilla warmer. You can put them in a towel with a couple of paper towels in between. Like take a towel like this, put a paper towel on top, put your tortilla, and then fold it in half. Okay. That works great if you don't have one of these little candy gadgets. This is a tortilla warmer. Mine's styrofoam. They come in plastic and wicker and all different kinds. But keep the lid on. That keeps the moisture in your tortillas so they stay pliable. Okay, guys. So this is going to go on. This is getting really hot, so I'm going to turn it off for a minute and let it cool just a minute. All right. Here's our tortilla. And this is a quick way to cool them off. People that's why you see people do this. They're trying to cool their tortilla down. Woo! Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to do it in my hand. See? I crumpled it up. I opened it up. Got a nice, wonderful tortilla still. Let's see how they taste. That's good. Oh, gotta get this one turned too. Sorry, I had my mouth full, guys. I took all the tortilla in my mouth, and then it was just like, you don't have enough spit in your mouth to get it all chewed up. I'm sorry. But it'll take me a couple of hours to finish rolling out all these tortillas. So I'm not going to do the whole entire batch with you guys. But now you get the idea of it. Also, another tip, when you go to put them in your tortilla warmer, put the hot side on top of the one below it. Okay? I don't know why. That's just what a big rule is when I got taught how to do them. It probably has something to do with the heat, keeping the ones below it hotter. Okay? So there you guys have it. Healthier homemade flour tortillas. We used grapeseed oil. Wonderful grapeseed oil, no flavor. You could use avocado oil. You could use sunflower oil. You could use whatever you can get your hands on. Walnut oil. It would have a good flavor depending on if you wanted to do a dessert type of tortilla. What else can I suggest you guys? Okay. So, but I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. I appreciate anybody stopping by. Camera's at, so I don't know where to look, because when I look away I don't know where my eyes go, and when I look over here it looks like I'm looking to the left of my stove. So anyway, I'm rambling. I'm not sure what to say. I appreciate it. This will get better, I promise. Don't hesitate to send me ideas, questions, recipes. Let me know what I screwed up on, what I shouldn't say too much, or what I maybe should do a little bit different. Please, I can't get better unless y'all help me, all right? You don't have to be mean about it at all, but just let me know. If there's something that, yeah, really, that's not so great, maybe she should do something better, let me know and I'll do it. I'll try. Do my best anyway. That's what I'm here for. All right, you guys, I hope you learned something. That's the whole point of this. I love y'all. Thanks for watching. I don't know how to stop this, so no. Okay. Do I stop it? Okay, let's see here. Oop, that's all my spices. All right. Rotate device. Yeah, how do I stop the live stream, honey?
Point it away from me.
Okay, it is. I'm looking at the tortillas here. I'm gonna come over here to the... Who's watching and telling you what's going on?
Huh?
Who's watching you and telling you I'm messing up?
I'm watching you.
Oh, thank you, honey. How do you turn it off? I think I hit the X and it tells me to stop.